Now it says stream starting soon.
All right, push this. So just make sure you can see and hear us, and
Sure.
it's all good. Hey everybody, welcome to bonus content. It's me, Alex, and Scott, and George is here,
Hello.
and we're all having fun, having a good time. Namshin is hanging. Now it's green. It says bad, but it looks happier. There we go. I think it's going now.
Hey, we're here.
Cool. Sorry about the technical difficulties, everyone. This is your captain speaking. We are back on schedule.
We're going we got some turbulence.
We had some turbulence over the Rocky Mountains. I like that. I was told that the uhs and ums of like air traffic control is to keep the channel open.
Oh.
And when I heard that, it was like, man, that makes so much that. Yeah, it totally makes sense. Because it'll take that second to boot up again to hear you talking. So that's a fun vocal technique that you can use that as your podcaster excuse for why you and too much. You're just keeping the channel open, you know.
I'm just keeping the stream alive, folks.
keeping the action going.
Yeah, it's like those flashlights you got to crank on.
Exactly. It's like the Alan Wake flashlight.
Is that? I haven't played Alan Wake. Is that the flashlight
no,
you uses?
You have to get batteries throughout the whole game. It's awful.
Oh, okay.
It's the Outlast before Outlast, George. Truly.
Oh, yikes! That sounds bad then.
Well, except I think it's pretty good because you can actually fight things. In the case of Scott Guthier, it's more of like just a pregnant pause between sentences. There's no ums and ers to keep the channel open. You're waiting, bated breath, to know when he's going to say something.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, dead silent.
Silent until you least expect it. George, you wanted to review yogurt for bonus content.
Right. So I went grocery shopping this morning. At the grocery store. It's literally right behind, like outside this window. It's over there. I live really close by a grocery store. So they have new Yoplays. They're like smooth. There's like a strawberry banana smoothie, and I forgot the other one I bought. But the big standout as a Latino was this horchata one. Which is a drink that's becoming more and more popular, I feel. Because there was once upon a time where I explained someone the concept of horchata, and they just look at me funny, including Donna Joe, which was when I met her. But now I feel like all the whites know about horchata now, and we're losing it. It's gonna be like boba tea. You're gonna be like, fucking. Here's a horchata boba tea. That's the hotness.
I feel like there's just a lot of shots fired right out the gate on this podcast.
Yeah,
George.
sorry. For those who are not familiar, horchata is a delicious Latin Mexican like milk and cinnamon drink.
Yeah, it's debatable.
Oh damn, we got some haters. Well, fuck that, man. I guess I do have to leave now.
Hey, you gotta remember, I'm actually one of you guys.
Yeah, Scott's.
Oh,
I know what this shit is.
That's true. That's true. And you're not a fan. You're not a fan, huh, Scott?
Plan's pretty good though.
Yeah. But anyway, so they made they're getting like fancy Yoplait flavors, and they got this, and I tried one. This is actually an unopened one. I got two because I bet Donna Joe wanted to try one out. It was my girlfriend. And it tastes, folks, like vanilla yogurt, and it's a shame. It just tastes like vanilla yogurt,
Just plain as heck.
but like the aftertaste has a hint of cinnamon.
I'd probably like that better, but still.
Yeah, you probably like this doesn't taste like horchata at all. This is great.
Whoa, what?
Excellent.
That's just wrong.
Yeah, that sounds just kind of boring.
Hi, Blessing. Blessing's in the chat.
But like, to be fair, like as you said, George, that's the kind of thing that like a white person like I would like.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. I'm glad that the world is discovering horchata, and I'm excited for more horchata like products. But you gotta try. And also, this is a regular Yoplait, so this is 150 calories, like 22 grams of sugar. Like this is It was a commitment to the bit. Shit.
Yoplait just spills all over the microphone.
Yeah, no kidding. God.
I had all the time.
Uh-huh.
So much time. Hello, Blessing. Also, our tradition of
Hello. Blessing didn't know I have a girlfriend. I guess he doesn't. Well, I guess yes, Blessing. I have a girlfriend. Of 7 years. 7 years.
A third of George's life.
Jesus, don't say that. Our second date was watching Real Steel with Hugh Jackman.
The beat 'em box, the Rock'em Sock'em
boxing
robots?
movie. Yeah.
Oh my god.
The boxing movie.
How was it?
She's right outside the door. I don't know how she'd feel about it. So we were still in high school. Man, this is gotta be our bonus content, huh?
Yeah, dude.
All right. So it was like we were still in high school, and I was incredibly awkward. I think I'm a much more confident and comfortable person. Blessing, if you're still in the chat, you can relate to the awkwardness of life and living.
Yeah.
Yeah, you too. Actually, that's true. And so like I had my arm around her the entire movie, and we were both deadly uncomfortable. And I would learn later that Donna Jones has like back problems, and like just like usually when we go to movies, it's just a problem.
Yeah.
And so looking back on it, I was like, haha, laughs. And that movie had like a soundtrack made by Timbaland.
Whoa.
That's what I remember.
I do remember this, yeah. I had a very similar date experience in high school, where I had my arm around someone the entire movie and it like fell asleep and it was incredibly uncomfortable.
Yep. But you commit to the bit.
You commit to it. We also, in that instance, we walked out of our movie to walk into another one that was arguably equally as bad, but
do you remember what it was?
For me, it was much more enjoyable. We walked out of, I think it was called The Watch. It was the
Vince Vaughn. Dude, I was talking about The Watch on Thursday. What the fuck?
Vince Vaughn Alien Invasion Neighborhood Watch movie.
Yeah,
we
Blessing in the chat real quick.
Yeah.
Damn, everybody got a girl, and I'm over here making podcasts.
I am single and dead on the inside. Blessing, if that makes
Blessing
you
is a very attractive young man.
Blessing's a hot boy. He's got like some good arms, and he needs to flex them more often.
Or is everyone in Seattle? Is the fact that Blessing doesn't have a podcast just like very normie for Seattle?
Yeah, is like Seattle like moved on to different audio recorded mediums. We walked out of The Watch, which was arguably the worst first 15 minutes of any movie I've ever seen.
I can't remember anything about The Watch.
It's so like there's so much like silence, like as in like you made a punchline and then it's just like awkwardly quiet for a little bit and it's supposed to be funny and none of it is. It's just it's really bad.
So we walked into
the Total Recall remake with Gerard Butler. The plus side, the girl,
was that Gerard Butler?
I think it was.
I don't think so.
Or
I think it was.
No,
it was the guy from
that vampire movie. You know what I mean?
Yes, that's what's on the
okay. I'm glad that is also.
That's the exact same reference.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Fright Night.
Yeah, Fright Night.
Fright Night is a fucking great movie.
Fright Night's pretty good.
That movie, it's got buried from time. It is great.
Yeah, my roommate loves.
I need to rewatch Fright Night tonight.
That's a class. I would call that a class. That's a fun movie. Do you remember
Blessing Ayoade has been single for years.
Me too, dude. I've been single for 8 years. Let's get married, Bless.
Blessing is married to the grind.
Yeah, Blessing is married to dedication to that PAX West panel. That's what I'm talking about. To results, motherfuckers.
Normally, I'd say you do you, but grinding on random people is weird.
That is true. That'll probably
that's what's gonna get Blessing canceled.
Yes, exactly. We were talking about this earlier today.
Scott's got a point, dude. Chill. I know you're on your grind, but chill. Yeah, I can't remember this guy's name. It's not Gerard Butler, but he kind of looks like him.
Oh my god. He's also in fucking he had a dark period in his career, and now he's doing it all right. I'm gonna look up.
Please look him up. It's gonna kill me that I don't know his name.
Killing me as well.
But the girl I was on a date with had a crush on that actor. Always thought he was a good-looking dude. So
Colin Farrell.
Colin Farrell.
It's Colin.
Yes.
From The Lobster. Yes, Colin Farrell was in the Total Recall remake.
I'll say like a Total Recall remake, like not good, but I don't think it was a bad movie. It was just like kind of uninteresting, but it was a decent action movie. If you're
The thing that I remember about Total Recall's home video release is that that movie bombed.
Yep.
And I think it had Kate Beckinsale in
Kate
it?
Beckinsale sounds right.
But it came with their big like Blu-ray, like buy the Blu-ray it came with a demo of God of War Ascension.
Oh
The hottest video game release. Yes.
Holy shit, dude. That's a deep cut.
Yeah, I remember. That's the most memorable thing I remember about Total Recall.
Man, Total Recall. That had Bryan Cranston in it. You know what?
It did.
It was okay.
Yeah.
Better
than The Watch, which is
better
not
than
hard.
The Watch, yeah. Kate Beckinsale, Jessica Biel, Bill Nye.
The thing that depresses me about The Watch, and I was talking about this when I was talking about The Watch with my friend Ryan while we were driving to watch Crawl, is that it had an actor who was not a big star. Like, because it starred Ben Stiller, Vince Vaughn, and what's his name?
Jonah Hill?
Jonah Hill. And then there was that other comedian, and that was supposed to be his big break, but The Watch fucking bombed. And
Richard
so
Ayoade? Was that who you're thinking
yes.
of? Yeah.
Did he make it big eventually?
I think
Because
he
that was
did.
like, let me see here.
Let's see what he's
Because he was in the It crowd.
Yeah, that guy. I feel like the It crowd like carried him. He's gonna be fine.
Okay, yeah, that's true. But I remember that was like at least mainstream thing, and it didn't do great.
Yeah,
It turned out he was actually the alien or something.
He hasn't been in anything too big recently. The biggest thing is like Paddington 2, which is still cool, but
Oh, he was in Paddington 2.
oh, he's in Lego Movie 2 as well.
I mean, some people would say Paddington 2 is the best movie of 2018, and that's not me. But there are those people. One Ben Bellevue.
Yeah,
probably.
I was gonna say Ben Bellevue. That sounds like some kind of film critic. Take.
I don't understand. I don't.
I've never seen it. Is it good?
I think it's fine, but people love that movie, including my two movie podcast co-hosts.
Did they outvote you in the best movie?
Yeah, I had to be the asshole. It was like, it'd be great. We'd make this list if we took off Paddington 2.
I think Cuphead should be higher.
Exactly. That's exactly. Paddington 2 should be higher. I was like, I think it's good, actually.
Okay, fair enough. The other thing I wanted to bring up in bonus content, although I feel like we should probably move into the show, was we're diet buddies, George.
Yeah, you're doing. I think I'm slowly falling off the wagon, and I need to get back. I went for a run.
I'm trying to keep you encouraged.
Yeah, you are. I appreciate it. I think this is yeah. It's. I'm not. I'm not. The thing was, I already watched kind of what I ate. Like, I'm not a big. I don't like a lot of junk food, like in terms of like fast food, but sweets are my big weakness. And how convenient and easy it is and cheap pizza is. Like, it's like, I wish pizza was just slightly more expensive.
Yeah.
Just a little bit more unattainable. That it's not like $6 and I can go right across the street and get a pizza.
But the thing is, I've been on the other side of the fence, and I'm so thankful pizza is as affordable as it is. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's also true. Sure.
You know, I
want something to fill you up and maybe fill you with joy for a few seconds.
Yeah, like just something that's consistently pretty delicious. You know what I mean? And pizza's your pal. Yeah, I mean, I think like the biggest, because I was eating a lot of pizza too, was like me doing the freshly meal thing that I've been doing for the past couple of weeks, and which is hit or miss. To be fair, I tweet out a lot of good meals, but there's some not so great ones too.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I would say it's like a 75-25. Most of them are good. So that's been helping me. And even if it's not great, it's still totally edible, and I'll still eat it, and I still know I'm like eating something relatively healthy for the night, which is good.
Yeah, it's been the good thing is that my service day job that I have, the menu's moderately healthy, and I can eat moderately healthy. And I've been cooking. It's just as the summer, Don Joe and I both have more time, so we cook more often, and that's good. But yeah, I'm probably gonna have to do a lot more cooking actually now that I think about it in the fall, because I don't have school anymore. Damn.
Oh man, the realization. This is your life now.
Like the problem with cooking is just I'm not very creative. That's the problem.
Yeah, I hit that too. You know, like I couldn't make a fucking Mario Maker 2 level to save my goddamn life. I also like, if you give me ingredients, I'll be like, I don't know, I'll make mac and cheese, I guess. You know, like That's all I know. This is all I know. I'll toast this Pop-Tart, I guess. But yeah, that's I feel you. You guys want to talk about video games?
Yeah, let me put this yogurt, this prop away, because I already ate the one I ate.
Yeah.
It's just here for props.
You might want to grab a glass of water or something if you don't already. Ugh. Video games. Scott, you saying I'm one of you guys is a personal favorite of mine also. Don't forget, I'm one of you guys.
I was gonna say Puerto Rican, but I was like, that's boring.
Yeah, no, the way you said it was perfect. I appreciate. Man, let me see. Did I forget any games?
I mean, I just think it's funny because everybody forgets.
Yeah, it's true. No one ever addresses you as anybody but other than a white guy, and it's not entirely true.
Not entirely true.
All right, George, how you feeling?
I'm feeling okay.
Excellent. I will settle for okay.
Yeah.
Let me make sure. Oh shit! I gotta get the bet from last week together. Gosh dang it! This'll take a couple of minutes. Do you guys have something to talk? Anything to fill this while I figure this bet out? I have to look at.
I mean, I didn't know that we were gonna start with bets today.
No, I want to get it done so I don't have to do it. Filling air during the show.
Okay.
I could be watching wrestling. That's what I could.
I mean, but like,
I beat the hell out of a swing set today.
Why?
Ooh.
Yeah. I guess. So, yeah, it's just an old rotting swing set, and so we just had to take it apart, and we did it the fun way. We couldn't find the sledgehammer, but we found an axe.
That's actually pretty good.
Yeah. We used both ends of that axe.
There was this old shed in my backyard when I was like in the house I grew up in, and eventually we were like, all right, we gotta get rid of this thing, so we gotta fucking break it down. And my dad and my brothers just fucking axed the thing to death. Which is definitely, I agree, Scott.
That's
the funner way to do it.
That's about what we did.
Have you ever axed anything, George?
Have I ever axed anything?
Yeah.
No, I have not. But there's a business in like one of our more, I don't know how you describe it, more like downtown, but not really downtown, like a place where people go like often here. Like there's a business where you just throw axes and you drink beer.
Yeah, like axe throwing. The Game Grumps did something like this.
Yeah. Which I've thought about, like, man, that sounds fun. Why not? You know? Yeah. I've never thrown an axe. I've never axed anything. I don't think I've held I have a small axe that my friend gave me Christmas one day.
Hatchet? That's a cool.
Yeah, a hatchet. That's what it's called. That's the name for that.
That's what this is.
I have two hatchets. I have two hatchets underneath my sink.
Two hatchets?
What do you? I'm a juggalo.
I mean, I think if I hear whoop whoop from you, I won't be surprised.
Whoop, whoop.
What do you have? What are the like? If you have one for one reason, what's the reason for the second?
So this person gifted a hatchet to me and on a Joe. That's why there's two.
So it's couples hatchets.
Exactly, matching hatchets.
I mean, I guess that's kind of sweet.
I'm like right underneath a source of light. How is my shadow? Like I just look completely like enveloped in mystery.
I think you are what the kids call lit, dude.
Let's see here. Video, camera.
You see, I'm not very good at filling air. This is why I ask people to.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Please, God. But damn, there's a 404 error on that one.
Oh shoot! Giant Bomb brought back the wrestling podcast, which is a bad time because I stopped watching wrestling. But
you stopped?
I did stop. I think a lot of people have stopped.
You're free?
We'll see how the end of the summer goes. That's when I'm giving them another shot. So we'll see.
My roommate watches wrestling, and yeah, he I don't know if he stopped, but he's
also depressed. He's probably at least depressed right now.
He's depressed, I think, for sure.
But also,
I don't
there's
get all the
competition now,
details,
so that's
but
good. Yeah,
yeah,
like the main thing is bad.
He's excited about like the AEW or whatever.
Exactly. They're having a show right now for a tribute show in Jacksonville because they're a Jacksonville company for the Madden shooting. So they're having a free wrestling pay-per-view that all the proceeds from ticket sales and merch sales will go to foundation to help folks who were affected by the shooting.
Wow, that's cool.
Mm-hmm. And then WWE put a competing show at the same time right now, which is very yikes.
Yeah, that's a big yikes from me, dog.
Yeah, but yeah, that's nice. Man, that was last year. It feels like a while ago. That's probably maybe a bad thing to say, but that was man, that was a thing. That was sad.
George, I don't know if you listened to last week's podcast, but the bet was how many times will the word Minecraft be used in the bottom 10 critic reviews Dragon Quest Builders 2 on Metacritic?
Oh man,
this was a lot more than I thought it was gonna be.
Oh,
I feel like I bet high too, and I
haven't read any of them.
They're all the lowest score is 75, which is crazy.
Damn. That's cool.
And that's like pretty good, honestly.
This is interesting. So, we're still on bonus content, right?
Yeah, we're still on bonus content.
So, for a second there, you probably didn't see it. Scott may have said it, but Alex didn't see it. Don Joe actually came in. I should hide my mug because the other side of my mug shows where I work. So, but she gave me some Salvadorian hot chocolate because I am from El Salvador, and my mother.
This is the second time in 2 episodes in a row that you've gotten hot chocolate delivered to you.
That's true. And Donna Joe gave me them. That's true. Wow.
That's a power play, George. If ever I've seen
a lot of beverages that I show off on this. Like, remember that time Game of the Year when I was drinking a wine glass?
Yeah, dude. We got next Game of the Year. We got to only drink Surge out of wine glasses.
Surge is cheap, also.
Yeah, dude. Got to load up. All right, you guys ready?
Yep. All right, we need to record, right? So maybe
we don't need to record. Remember, we're
flying. You're doing YouTube, right?
Flying by the seat of our pants here. I just need to get my pre-show puff.
Oh yeah. So are you actually just using the Discord or whatever, the recording?
Yeah. I'm pulling the YouTube audio.
Okay.
I guess Tony's not here.
That's true.
We could record. Oh well, he might join.
Well, then if he comes in.
Yeah, if he joins, then it's just literally for nothing.
Yep.
What a purgatory that we live in.
Jesus.
Okay. Oh Jesus!
I was scared because I had to sneeze, but I was also holding hot liquid. So I was like, oh my god.
True fear. You've never known a truer fear. All right. Let's do this. What day is it? July 13th? Sure. It is Saturday, July 13th, 2019, and you are listening to the Irrational Passions podcast. I am Alex O'Neill, your conductor on this video game train of summertime video games that we are about to embark upon. I hope you brought your tickets because we are joined by Mr. Scott Guthier.
Not today. Nope. I'm out.
All right.
Peace.
Scott's off the train. He's done with the show. Have a good evening. And Mr. George Cruz from the editorial team.
Summertime loving in the summertime. Yeah.
Is this your preferred summer jam?
Yeah, this is. I thought I should sing a song or do a fun bit from a reference since Nabashin's not here, and that fit well. That was from a regular show. That's when that reference is from.
Yep. The only thing I know about that show is that guy who's got a lemon head.
Oh, he's dead.
He died?
He died.
That's fucked up. I didn't like him that much, but
nah, man. No, yeah. Pops, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, he's talking about Pops. Pops be.
Oh yeah.
Pops be gone, man.
Rest in peace, Pops, man. Bless up. Never get Pops' contribution to a regular show and references.
They did make a regular show video game at some point. I never played it.
They made multiple, I think. It's just the 3 of us. We are down at Nabashin, who's hanging out with some family. From what I understand, he is feeling better. Good news. So he's just hanging out with his niece today. And Tony may be unconscious. We will know. We'll probably know soon, I think. We'll find out together. Look at it that way. But George is here. Scott's here. I'm here. We got video games to talk about. Let's kick the show off with some housekeeping. George, I want you to give me some highlights. Tell me something that you're stoked about that's on irrationalpassion.com right now.
Sure. So not this week's episode of Input, but last week's episode of Input, we had a special guest, one Rebecca Valentine of gamesindustry.biz. She came on to discuss her article focusing on game hardware manufacturers and folks who like tracking down which companies are sourcing their materials from companies who are known for human rights abuses. It's a very not your typical video games news story. But she did write that article. I thought it was really fascinating. I was happy to have her on the show to talk about it. And we might have another guest coming up that I'm also very excited for. But I haven't listened to one Jarrett and Logan debate themselves about G2A, but I'm sure it's fine as well. What else do we have on the site right now that is worth your time? I think it always needs more views. Is Indie Highlights by one Mike Burgess. That was for last month. But I think it's still, indie games are, they're all, there's so many of them. You probably missed one of these indie games that you talked about. That's Indie Highlights for the month of June, 2K19. Are you working on the next one, Alex, or is he?
I think Mike's gonna be doing it. I'm going to do one at some point. We're waiting for the right time, I think.
Right. Like this month is like, I'm not sure, like Sea of Solitude is like the biggest thing that I know of that. Yeah. Let's see. What else have we done on this site recently? Oh yeah, Scott reviewed that next game from the folks who did Rock of Ages and the Tower of Monsters or something. It was like a B movie that was like a top-down action game. But this game is sort of a ActRaiser like called Soul Seraph, which is a game that sort of was announced like out of nowhere and then it just came out.
Yeah, this kind of dropped out of nowhere.
Yeah, so he's got your word on that. And of course, you should listen to one Jarrett Green, Scott White, and myself suffer and play through Sonic the Hedgehog 2006.
Yeah, I want to talk about this.
We will talk about it later in the show, but I think that's some of the highlights other than the Irrational Passions podcast from last week, which I assume, listener, you'll listen to because you're listening to this episode.
Look at that. Housekeeping done professionally by someone that isn't even me. I love it. This is incredible. It's got that El Salvadorian hot chocolate just pumping you up.
Yeah, it's a lot sweeter than I normally am used to.
You gotta get that sweets craving somewhere, George.
Yeah.
That's irrationalpassions.com. All this stuff. We got some cool things like that continue happening. We talked about it a little bit last week. Mike is playing through Breath of the Wild on Master Mode, trying to do everything.
Oh, right, yes.
It's Tuesdays and Sundays, I believe. It's Tuesdays, right?
It is Tuesdays. I don't know what the second day is. I know Tuesdays for sure.
I did a stream this last week of the first half of the Messenger DLC, Picnic Panic, which was fun. I had to actually beat the final boss again to unlock the DLC because I should have done that when the New Game Plus patch came out months and months and months ago, but I never did. But it was fine. It was a warm-up. I spent an hour doing it, but then the next 2 hours we played the DLC, which was fun. Thanks everyone who hung out with that. Streaming some Destiny tomorrow, day after recording this. And Mike's obviously doing Breath of the Wild. It's gonna be fun. You did a stream too of some old games.
Yeah, I think I want to do more. That was my first Twitch stream of all time. I think as far as first streams go, I think it was pretty damn good.
You did very good.
Yeah. I played some Virtua Racing and some Wonder Boy and Monsterland, these Sega Ages re-releases of these games on Switch, which are a thing Sega's putting out only on the Switch for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe because M2 is very picky about platforms. But yeah, I want to play more old games. This is going to be a thing. I'm going to be doing, every once in a while, play some old video games because those are my jam. I'm thinking the next time we're going to be playing some old Disney movie licensed video games.
Yeah, bring out the Lion King, get Aladdin out there.
I want to play the Aladdin sequel game that has an original Aladdin story that was only for this video game. I don't know who developed it.
This is why we're kindred spirits, I think, George, because you, me, and Nabishin, because we all just like old games, probably to an unhealthy degree. I think yours is the most true and intense of the three of us, but I played a lot of Mega Man Legends this week, so
man,
we're gonna talk about that. But yeah, there's cool stuff. Irrationalpassions.com, twitch.tv/irrationalpassions. Video games. Let's talk about them. We've all been playing some video games. Scott Guthier, have you played some video games this week?
The same couple as last week.
Uh-huh.
So nothing too new to say about it.
Okay. Still chucking away at
It's
Darkest
still
Dungeon?
Darkest Dungeon and actually that's about it.
Okay. Haven't touched Sekiro at all?
Nope.
You're so close.
I had a plan to,
Yeah.
but
Things happen. Life happens. Team fight
Basically.
tactics happens. Comes and ruins all our lives. I get it. But nothing, no big updates this week yet.
no big updates this week.
I played like a lot of different things. So I just want to kind of knock it out, and I feel like George, maybe you can chip in on some of these because you haven't been on in a couple weeks. I finished Katana Zero, which no one else at IP really is talking about. I finished this like last week, but it was a game that I forgot to talk about last week.
Was it indie highlights though?
It wasn't indie highlights, and Scott White did play it. But we haven't done. Well, Scott and I are probably going to talk about it at some point. But do some kind of discussion about it that you'll be able to listen to with your ears. But yeah, I really like that game. I think it's something really cool. I would maybe encourage you to check it out, George. How did you feel about Hotline Miami?
I mean, I love Hotline Miami, but the thing with Katana Zero, and I think it's unfair of me, but I know everyone was talking about it so much at PAX East, but for me, it was just like, this seems very rude, and I'm sorry, but it just like, I felt like the developer moved on from this, because to me, it's from the far, and I know, it just looks like, we're still doing this, huh? We're still chasing that Hotline Miami dragon.
So
but people say it's very good.
The reason I bring this up is because I really don't think it's like Hotline Miami. I think it is very different in some very critical ways and just how it's paced. I think like moment to moment, like you could directly compare them pretty easily, but the fact that it's kind of more of like a 2D platformer, the way it lays out secrets is kind of similar, but I think more interesting. And just I think the storytelling is better than Hotline Miami. I'm not like one of the people that still goes to bat for that game. Like I really liked it at the time, but I kind of it didn't hit me as hard as it did a lot of people. But Katana Zero seems to kind of, for me, connect the dots on those concepts as kind of psychedelic and not understanding what you're seeing, not believing what you're seeing, in addition to like really, really fast-paced gameplay. I would say like it gave me more of a Super Meat Boy vibe than a Hotline Miami vibe. And I know like we're apples and oranges here, but we're still in the fruit category. But I think there is a distinct enough difference.
Yeah, how long is it? Because Hotline Miami isn't that long.
It's like maybe 7 hours.
Okay, that's a little bit long in the Hotline, but it's still a good length.
Yeah, I don't know, it does not overstay its welcome. I thought it would. I think like each level I was like, all right, I'm ready for this level to be over, and then it ended. So I think they did a pretty good job with it. I played a little bit of Mario Maker 2.
That is a video game.
That is a video game. It's very good. I didn't play a lot of it this week. I gotta like just sit down and maybe if I do like a stream of it, it'll be more rewarding.
Yeah.
But sit down and like get some levels together and like really play some of the crazier levels because I feel like I haven't really seen that yet. I just wanted to talk about my time at Porsche briefly because it went up on Game Pass, and
that's why everyone's playing it. Okay.
Yeah, I actually bought it on Switch earlier this year, and it runs like fucking trash.
Yeah, I believe it.
It's atrocious. It's unplayable as far as I'm concerned.
It's a 3D game, right?
It's a 3D game. The load time to get into the game, just get into the game. Like from when you boot it from the Switch like cross media bar menu to like the game is like 5 minutes. And I'm not kidding. It's
intense.
Insane. And I played on Xbox One because it's on Game Pass. It was so much more playable, and I just got furious, and I quit. And I finished Cadence of Hyrule. I talked about being the last dungeon over the last couple of weeks. Finally went and finished it. Ending was like way more heartfelt than I thought it would be. Got a lot of feels from it. It really, really understood what makes a Zelda game special and what makes a Zelda game, which is not an easy thing to say, because there have certainly been imitators to the throne in the past, and they've not done as well. But they did.
Oceanhorn.
Yeah, or, Darksiders.
Lost in Tales.
Like different things. This one like really felt like it. It really felt like it was in the right hands, which is cool. I feel like we don't get enough of those stories. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, they got the license and then they like did it really well. I think we're getting more and more.
Studio.
But yeah, they crushed it. Have you been playing that at all, George?
I haven't. No, I haven't played it. I'm broke, so I haven't been playing too many newer stuff.
Fair enough.
Shout out to we'll talk about the Switch life soon. But also like Zelda's like I didn't even play Crypt of the Necrodancer, so
yeah, I didn't play Crypt of the Necrodancer either, but I like Cadence Spiral, and I played it pretty much with the rhythm mode turned off.
Right, because I was like, Alex O'Neill, not a rhythm.
Not a man with rhythm. But like even playing it is more like a slow, methodical roguelike, like a traditional roguelike. I thought it was really, really great. So that's all the quick stuff. So big ones I wanted to talk about. I played Mega Man Legends. We don't really have to talk about that much. I have like this weird. What is your feeling on Mega Man Legends, George?
When I was a child, I loved Mega Man Legends. Loved it. And always said I was going to get Mega Man Legends 2. Mm-hmm. I was sure it was going to be a greatest hits. Turns out it did not sell well at all. And it became an incredibly rare game. And then eventually, thankfully, it became on PSN, but I never played it. I think I emulated Mega Man Legends at one point. And then there was also Tron Bonne. I was like, man, I want that. That'll also probably get cheap. Nope. Went up for like $300 at some point when it was physical, and that's digital. But I played Mega Man Legends, I think, 5 years ago, and I was like, boy, these controls are rough.
Yeah, controls are rough.
Oof, that's my, and that kind of stuff, like, oh man, maybe people were right about this game being poo-poo doo-doo, because that was the reaction for that to that game back in the day when we were children, but people were like, yo, this fucking sucks.
Yeah, I don't know.
At least the diehard Mega Man people were, right? Like, it's its own thing. It stands on its own merit.
I think it's people that don't like normal Mega Man that would like this game, right? Like, people like me at the time, right? But very few and far between. I have a lot of memories of playing the beginning sections of this game over and over and over again because I was a stupid kid and I didn't read anything because I was bad at reading. So I would never know where to go at some point. That too.
That I remember also.
And then I would give up. Because I was a stupid child again. So like going through it again and like actually paying attention, taking in the story, figuring out what's going on, where I am, and like how to play it, using like I switched the controls around so you move with R1 and L1, and you strafe with them, and that's helped me a lot for like just basically holding R1 and holding left on the D-pad and just like strafing around an enemy and killing them, and they can't do anything. But it's still been pretty tough in a lot of areas. I've had to replay a lot of sections, but like knowing what to do in this game is such a foreign concept to me. And yeah, I don't know. It's cool. It's got a good progression to it. I like the dungeon areas. I like the voice acting a lot. Like it's a surprisingly expressive cinematic game for being a
That's
PS1
what I
game.
remember. It's got like I've been playing that Tales of Vesperia, and it kind of reminds me of that playful, lighthearted energy that game has. Like it's a lot better for the time. For the time, especially when you look at Mega Man 8, it is light years ahead.
Yeah.
I don't know about that narrator. Remember that narrator is like pirates or whatever the fucking hell.
The Diggers.
The Diggers, that's what it is.
Yeah,
Diggers.
They're finding hidden treasure, and they're also pirates.
The
narrator's only in that opening though, so
yeah, I know
you don't get a lot of them. Yeah, I know it's cool. Like the controls are rough. That was the immediate feeling. And I almost got killed right at the beginning because the controls were very rough. But like getting through them and playing a little bit more of it, it was cool. It's cool. Kind of like when I replayed Alundra and like actually read and understood what was happening, like 8 or so years ago when that like went up on PS1 Classics. There's been a big appreciation and like a kind of filling in of the gaps of a part of my childhood, and that's been cool. I also got Mega Man Legends 2. They were both on sale, so I just grabbed them.
Right, there's a Capcom sale,
and I will check that out afterwards. We'll see.
Man, it's wild. It's still wild to me that we live in the world where those games are like $2.
Yeah,
because those games are very, very expensive.
I
Once,
had
like,
the Trombone
yeah.
game as a kid. I
Damn,
definitely
son.
sold it to GameStop way before I should have, but I was a stupid
Yeah.
child. But I loved Trombone. I thought she was so funny.
Yeah, like all the characters are so good. Like they're great. Like Roll's fantastic. I love Roll. You got that monkey, that fucking monkey.
Data.
Monkey guy. Data, yeah, he'd save your game.
He
Shout out to that guy.
does a little dance.
He does a little
He's so
dance.
cute.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
good. Serbots are great. Great music. I remember that too. Like it's just got a great style. It's got like a really like sort of slice of life adventurous anime feel, and like it's we got a good vibe. I like it a lot. Like I don't know.
There's redeemable qualities in Mega Man Legends.
Yeah. I haven't played 64. I don't know if that's any better control wise or worse because it's on a 64 controller.
Oh, I didn't even know it came to 64.
Or what the sacrifices they made, or like if it's better because there's no like full motion video in Mega Man. It's all in engine, I believe.
I think
all
it's all
cutscenes
in
are
engine.
Yeah, so it might look better.
Damn. I didn't know it ever came out on N64.
Yeah, it's called Mega Man 64.
That's cool. I wonder if
I think it came out like 2000, like 2 years after the fact Mega Man Legends came out.
Damn. I will say, like, some of the pixel art and the polygonal art is like really, really great. Like pretty stellar.
Good menu that as well.
Yeah, very Tomba-like menu.
Yeah.
It reminds me a lot of Tomba 2, except like way more polished. But I like that about it.
Vibes.
I got back into Destiny 2. I thought I would have to talk about it. I really don't. I got back into Destiny 2. We're streaming it tomorrow. Mike and I are playing. Scott White has committed himself to playing with us when the new Shadowkeep expansion comes out this fall. It's exciting times. Video games. Destiny 2. I don't know. I played some of the new stuff that I had not seen, like Season of Drifter stuff. The Season of Opulence, which I'll be playing the Menagerie on stream tomorrow. That's kind of like the big 6-player co-op thing that they added. That's not a raid.
Damn.
In addition to a new raid and stuff. But I have not seen the Menagerie yet. I'm excited to. I finally got to see the season of the season of the Drifter, and then the first one is I forget. It's like season of the Vault or something. The Black Armory, I think it was.
Yeah,
and
I've heard of that.
I got to actually see some of that stuff through. And you can like make certain weapons. They brought the machine gun back, which was like a heavy weapon from Destiny 1 that has not been in Destiny 2 up until then.
So quick thing.
Yeah.
The value, the Misadventures of Tron Bonne was a digital game and saw a quick dip. It is still, for a complete in-box, it is $261 in value for the Misadventures of Tron Bonne.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot more. That's like one of those PS1 digital games that still helped its price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a fun game. It's not like that deep, but it's a fun game. From what I remember. I will say so going back to Destiny 2, booting it up for the first time in literal months, since I think the Season of the Drifter first started, which was like March or something. They have this nice little video that plays that introduces you to the Season of Opulence of like, here's what you should do first, and then where you should go next, and then here's the reward that you're going to be able to do, and then this is the big player activity that you're going to be doing over and over again to get new loot and unlocking new stuff. And in that video, it hints at some like secret side objectives that'll be cropping up here and there. And it was like, man, they've never done anything like this. This is like really helpful for like coming back after a long time. And then when I booted it up today, there was some kind of reset, I think, and it was like next week in Destiny 2, like this is going to be like it's this week for the Dreaming City to be at this state so you can access this dungeon. It's this thing will be going on at the tower, and then this like third bullet point. It's like, oh cool, like that's good to just have a little refresher of like here are the major seasonal things that are going on next week ahead of time. So there's just like been little quality of life stuff they've added to Destiny 2 that have made going back far more pleasant.
So I have a question real quick.
Yeah.
Is the Season of Opulence and all these season stuff, is that like free additions to the game, or do you have to buy the pass thing?
So the Season of the Black Armory, or maybe it's just called the Black Armory, Season of the Drifter, and Season of Opulence were those. That was the expansion pass, or
okay,
it was the season
not Forsaken,
pass.
right?
Yeah,
not
it was.
Forsaken.
So Forsaken had like the base content, Dream and City, and all that, and then Forsaken had its own season pass. That included those three things. You would still get access. Like I think to some extent, some of the public level events of all of those would be accessible to everyone. But and they showed like, hey, if you just have Forsaken, this is what you get, and if you have the season pass for each of these seasons, this is what you get. But I think you need the expansion pass to access like the big new mission. Like I don't think you could get into the menagerie if you don't have the Season of Opulence pass or whatever. So I'm not positive though. Destiny, like that's why they're like kind of dropping all the different SKUs.
Yeah, that's wild.
With Destiny, like year 3, Destiny 2 year 3, because it's just too confusing. You can basically jump in at any time. Which is smart. I don't know if by jumping in at any time you'll be able to get everything before it, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah,
that's the only kind of lingering question I have. They might have clarified that, but I'm not positive.
Because the Forsaken bundle right now is like $10.
Yeah,
so
and that's like Destiny 2 and Forsaken, but I don't think that's also the season pass, so that you wouldn't
Which was taken off sale for a bit. I don't even fucking know anymore.
Yeah, they changed how it's listed.
Yeah.
The nice thing is like everything going forward, like you can buy Destiny 2, Forsaken, and Shadowkeep all together, and you can buy Shadowkeep or Shadowkeep in all of its seasons, and that's the only two things that you have to worry about. It's just get everything going for the next year, or just get the beginner package, pretty much. I played Middle-earth: Shadow of War this week. So I guess here's the thing. I had this game on disc, and it was still installed on my Xbox One, and then it went up on Game Pass this week. So then I didn't have to put in the disc to play it. I could just hit a button and play it, and that's really where my journey started.
That's kind of funny.
It's pretty funny. Of just like it very much gave my laziness an excuse. But yeah, I played a little bit of Shadow War. I played like maybe 10 hours of it. Got kind of through the first act to the point where you're like recruiting people again. Very weird that is like it's very much a similar trajectory as the first game. Like as soon as I put the game down last, and I was having a good time with it, I was like, I maybe don't need to go back to this game. And I don't know, there was nothing in particular. Like I was digging the story. There's some fantastical parts of it that are kind of fun. And I was having a good time. It was just a matter of, it kind of felt like another open world game.
Yeah.
And there's so many like different regions that you go to in that game. Like it's not just one big world. And in Shadow of Mordor, there's 2 different maps. It's like 6 maps. And it's like, I got to conquer. And each map has its own hierarchy of captains and then war chiefs and an overlord with this garrison that you have to ambush or charge or whatever. And then you have to take each map and go through. It was I finished the first one, and then you can go to the next area. And it was just the thought of having to recapture all the captains, and then capture the war chiefs or kill the war chiefs, and then kill the overlord again. Just was like, oh, I can't. This is exhausting. I think that it was just the idea of having to go through that again. Maybe we go faster next time, and the stuff that's there is great. Like all the Nemesis events and things that happen are great. Training your captured captains and having them fight each other and teaming up together or betray one another is fun and cool. But it was just like so much. It took so long to get like 5 captains recruited. And then it's like, oh, I got it. And that was like barely enough to take down the 2 war chiefs and then go on to the next phase. It's like, oh, I got to do all this again. It was just too much for me.
Question.
Yeah.
Is the on Game Pass, was the expansion included?
No.
The one that has the new story with the black protagonist.
No, none of the expansions are included.
Interesting.
I looked at the expansion pass. It's like on sale for like $25 right now, or $23. I was like, oh, I could get that. Or
That
like,
must be pretty meaty then, damn.
Yeah, I mean, so there's 4 expansions. There's 2 story expansions. One where you play as that guy from Minas Tirith, and one where you play as like the Blade of Galadriel, some lady. Oh, it's like Etheliel or something. I don't know how to say her name. And then there's 2 the Nemesis system expansions. So it's 2 new factions that will be incorporated into your worlds, which is cool.
What do you think Monolith is working on now? Do you think they're making another one of those? What do you think?
I don't think they're making another Lord of the Rings game.
Yeah,
I feel
because
like it just didn't go
when
well
Monolith
enough.
was picked up during the Warner Brothers, like, hey, we're getting serious about video games. They were making Fear, and then they made that Guardians of Middle Earth MOBA, and then they made Shadow of War, and then here we are. Or maybe I still stand by that. I was never more confused than the year 2014, and everyone was like, "This game's game of the year." I was like, "Fucking all right, guys."
What was your game of the year that year?
It might have been Mario Kart 8, honestly.
Mario Kart 8's fucking lit. To be fair,
Yeah.
Ours was Shovel Knight.
That was the year of that I fell in love with Nintendo, because that was the big year for the Wii U. I feel like the Smash, it was Mario Kart, it was the Bayonetta 2.
Yeah, but 3D World was 2015, right?
Not big on
it was
Nintendo
13.
before that.
Yeah, where were you at with them before?
Because 13th was I got my Wii U in 2013 with the Wind Waker, so I have the Zelda one.
Mhm.
But like that year was like Pikmin finally came out, and like 3D World came out, but the PS4 came out the same day, so I never played it until like I think later in 2014. That's why I associate that game with 2014, because I was like, man, Nintendo can make some fucking video games.
Yeah, they make some.
No,
alright.
what I mean, like before the Wii U, just never really into Nintendo.
Yeah, no, it was mostly PlayStation, and I completely bypassed the Wii. Like, just straight up bypassed it completely.
That's pretty
So,
I mean, I don't completely disagree with that.
Yeah.
And GameCube, like, I enjoyed the GameCube as a console, but
did you ever
I think
have
the
a
most
GameCube?
no, I think I got one later, and then I sold it, and now I want one again because now I'd be serious about playing it.
Yeah, I
I'd
feel
actually
like the GameCube is like the George Cruise console. I feel
It is. It really is. But then I was like, well, I could just buy a Wii because that'd be cheaper, and I could get a better video out of it on a Wii. But
Let me tell you about my boy Billy Hatcher.
I want to play that.
Also known as George Cruise, the video game.
Yeah, that sounds like it. No kidding.
Did you ever hear
that when I was...
I did play that as a child as well. Did you ever hear my Billy Hatcher character pitch for Smash Brothers?
No, you didn't.
I did it on Podcast Ultimate. My idea was that like as you fought, you would have to hold on and protect your egg. And if it broke, you had you could throw it and destroy it on somebody for like a big attack. You could always like press a button to summon it back, but the idea was like you're trying to cultivate something throughout the match. It's like the character idea I'm probably the most proud of from that
Correction.
podcast. Yeah.
I actually did own a GameCube for a significant amount of time that I played a lot of it, but all I played on it was Sonic Adventure DX and F-Zero GX, and holy fucking shit, that video game is a bitch. Oh my god, F-Zero GX is hard. Sweet lord.
Yeah, it's a difficult video game. That's all I remember about F-Zero GX is
Man.
how fucking hard it is.
Holy hell.
Like, I beat everything on the easy difficulty, and then on normal, I couldn't beat a single fucking thing.
Oh, and Luigi's Mansion. I played a lot of Luigi's Mansion.
Luigi's Mansion's dope, dude. You excited about 3?
And I'm excited, yeah, because I feel like
Luigi's Mansion 3 looks choice. Looks great.
We'll get into it on my Switch experience, but that's one of the big like that's gonna be one of my big fall games for sure, no doubt about it. So excited,
very excited for October, because I feel like that's when it's coming out. Last big game, because whatever, Shadow War. I played is A Plague Tale, which I actually started yesterday. I've played quite a bit of it. I'm bummed. Nabishin, I know, played the...
Nabishin's been banging the drum on that one.
Yeah, I know he played the beginning of it. I don't know if he finished it. But I've heard a lot of good things about it. You know, it's like an indie game, $50, but it is like very well made. It's like AAA-esque. I would compare it to like a Hellblade. As far as
that's what it looked like,
quality and what you're getting.
How much this physical copy of that game cost?
It was $35 on Xbox One this week, so that's why I grabbed it. But if you were uninitiated, Plague Tale takes place, I think, in 14th century France. If it is my best guess, I'll I will fact check that. Nabishin also tweeted at us to talk about our like half year game of the year, which is something we traditionally do every July. But I said, "Oh, I want to do that when you're on the show next," and he responded with "coward." I don't understand why he's instigating me for help for defending him.
I mean, we'll come with a compromise, and I'll just say what mine is, and you can skip it. So we have to come back to it.
I didn't even play any games from this year, so
Yeah.
I like that. I'll take that, Scott.
Let's see. What games have I played from this year? We got Baba's You, which I guess is a game that I've been continuing on the side.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, put that in
We
my
have
wish list.
Sekiro.
Yep.
Sekiro came out this year.
Yep, that was March.
And I think that's probably it. I think
Anthem,
Risk
of
of
course.
Rain was.
Oh right, I need to put a game on my list.
Risk of Rain 2 went into early
Risk of
access in
Rain.
March. That's new.
But it's not going to come out till next year.
Yeah, I would say
But I mean,
we would say that for next year.
Technically, yeah,
Kingdom Hearts 3.
that's true.
Yep.
Thank you, George.
Mm-hmm.
I think those are the big three, though. Baba's You, Kingdom Hearts 3, Sekiro.
We're
probably-
weird here.
We're
Sounds
definitely
like I'm missing one.
yeah, we're definitely forgetting something here.
Devil May Cry, Resident Evil.
No, not big games.
No, not big games. Definitely not big games. Oh well.
Yeah, it will. Noption will
big
remind
oh
us
well.
tomorrow. Yeah, or next week. I should say.
So far it's gonna have to be Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah, a fair choice. Will no doubt be very high on our list at the end of the year, and the haters gonna hate.
Well, I mean, the haters probably also didn't really play 1 or 2 either.
Yeah, George.
Yeah, that's definitely not me.
that's-
Not me at all.
This ain't it, fam. A Plague Tale takes place in 1348, so it was right, the 14th century, in France. So you play basically the daughter of, I guess, like a baron or like a nobleman with land and whatnot, an important person, not like quite a king, but someone who is like a ruler of some amount of land, some town, some area. You play Amicia. Jesus, that's a weird name. Which is, she's like a 16-year-old daughter of this ruler, and fucking bad shit happens, and you and your brother, your younger brother, who you've barely spent any time with, because he's supposedly very ill and doesn't really leave his room, you now have to run through the countryside, away from pursuers, to fucking survive, while a horrific plague is sweeping France. A plague carried by these horrendous, monstrous rats. So the whole, and like the rats are, we're talking like Dishonored level plague rats here, like swarms, thousands of them. And if like a human body walks through them, the rats will climb up him and turn him into cartoon bones within seconds. Like this is like a legit real thing that has happened in front of me in this game. And they are afraid of fire or light. So it is a third-person game where you're kind of exploring these environments, pretty much all stealth, either hiding from people or hiding from rats, or trying to traverse these areas, carrying a torch or finding ways to carry a flame or create safe pathways to get through these millions of rats swarming around these different environments. To be as reductive as I can be, but like as straightforward as I can be, very much seems like a kind of medieval ages Last of Us. I kind of take on that kind of story. We have these kind of two very different characters. Like Amicia is like the opening of the game is she like her preferred weapon is like a sling pouch that she shoots stones with, and she like does this little test with her dad which is a test that if you passed it you would become a true knight, So she's like very much more, I don't want to say tomboyish because she doesn't come across like that, but she is like athletic and strong and kind of driven. And the younger brother, Hugo, is more like gentle and kind and inquisitive, I would say. So we have these kind of two opposed characters. You get thrown of like she is dealing with her parents like dying, and her whole world falling apart, and the anxiety and stress that brings on. All the while, Hugo is just a kid. He doesn't really understand what's happening. He's scared. He wants to go home. He wants to see his mom, and he's sick, and he gets these really bad migraines. So I don't know. They build these two characters up in a really cool way. It's a very trope heavy, I would say at first, of like kind of familiar tropes told in an unfamiliar time. I think it approaches like the first time you kill somebody in the game is like really horrific and like a big deal for Amicia. It's not a thing that's just brushed to the side. But of course you do go from that to like headshot. But like she's like yelling as she's doing it, and it feels like you've like really either empowered or driven her in a cool way. Like they don't undersell it. And I think it's a beautiful game where you're just kind of traversing these environments stealthily, and they do a good job at channeling like that Last of Us vibe while still being something very different. Even if it is clearly inspired by it, we're dealing with a virus outbreak of a plague, and humans being kind of the most dangerous person because there's so few of them. Yeah, I don't know. I like it a lot. I'm on chapter 7, I think, of like 15 or 16 or something, and I've really been into it so far.
There's also a French studio, it appears.
Yeah, I think it's some part of my brain knew that at some point. But yeah, I know they have like 2 child actors actually playing the kids in the game, and it's a little rough around the edges, I would say, but I could tell what they were going for, and they're trying to get like a really earnest performance out of it. I
think it's just happy, like, because I know the studio has been a rough go at it. They were sort of, working on licensed games and like HoloLens, Young Conquer,
Jesus,
everyone's favorite, Young Conquer with those sick rhymes. They don't play that shit on the radio.
No,
Young
they
Conquer.
don't.
But yeah, like it's cool that this game has had it hasn't been as big so far as Hellblade, where like that blew up immediately, but it's again, I keep saying it, but like it's weird that we live in a time now. Like people keep saying like, oh, the middle came back at some point. I don't know when, but like because this is put out by Focus Home, and Focus has also put out The Surge and Vampire, and I think something else that I'm missing that was pretty big. Oh yeah, they did that Styx game, but that game's not good. That's trash. Yeah, so that's cool.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool to see it. Like it doesn't feel it. It's not as polished as I would say the biggest AAA games are, but it's very close. And there's like a lot of great attention to detail and animation in it. Like the way when you're holding like a torch, like Hugo will come and like wrap his arm around you and hold his body close to you under the torchlight, and you'll hold it low and kind of put your arm around him to keep him as close as possible so the light will protect him from the rats. Like the little subtle stuff like that, hats off. Like that, it's really, really well done.
Damn. So speaking of Focus Home and how they're like the new middle tier. Like I honestly think like they're the team that like the publishing arm that THQ Nordic may want to be. Like they have on their Twitter, they said they have a new game with Don't Nod that is yet to be announced. They have a new game with Sumo Digital that is yet to be announced. They have another Deck 13 game or Deck. There's like 2 Deck 13 game. They have 2 Saber projects, and then some other developers that I'm not. Oh, another Asobo Studios game. They're working on another game, and they're funding another game by them. So that's cool.
That's cool.
Yeah. Video games. Oh yeah, they put out World War Z as well.
Oh wow. That's a couple of games this year.
Yeah, they're making a go at it. So that's cool.
I assume Surge 2 is also them, right?
That's September, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you know Vampire's coming to Switch? That's the thing I learned.
I heard about it.
That's
I still don't know if it's Vampire or Vampire.
Like Thanos, a Switch port is inevitable, even if it runs or not.
It's true. Take that, My Time at Porsche.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Alan Wake coming to the Switch, dude. They got.
Oh yeah, no kidding. Yep,
they got those publishing rights to put that shit out. You know what I mean?
Just put it there, yeah.
It's coming to PS4 too, more than likely, but it's definitely coming to Switch. George, video games.
Oh man, it's me. I gotta talk about video games. Okay,
Yeah, what you been playing?
So the thing I've been focusing a lot of my time, and I need to focus probably after I'm recording, I play more because I'm making content for the site, is Stranger Things Season 3, the video game put out by Bonus XP. I don't know if folks have heard about this show called Stranger Things. It's like a small thing, you know. It's not a big deal, but
NBD.
Yeah, so they made a video game. This is the Stranger Things video game story has been weird because I feel like eventually there'll be a lot of stories that come out of like because there's a Telltale game they're going to make, and when that didn't work out, there's something else they're going to make, and we're here with this game, which is a retro throwback little movie license game. I haven't finished it yet, and I'm gonna have to to review it, or at least to a certain point. Right now, like I don't feel comfortable just calling it here.
Mm-hmm.
I need to play at least a little bit more. It's separated into episodes like the show, so I'm about to wrap up episode 3, going into episode 4. Has everyone here seen Stranger Things 3 yet, by the way?
Yeah.
Everyone?
You know I've talked about it. Scott, probably.
I know you have, but Scott, have you seen it yet?
Scott, I don't know where you're at with Stranger Things. Is that a yay or a nay for you?
That is a nay.
Okay.
Okay. So would you prefer I don't spoil anything?
Don't care.
Okay.
Don't care.
To our audience, though, be warned.
Be warned. I'm going to give you a good heads up. I mean, Netflix tells me that 10 million people saw the entire show by Monday. That's wild.
That's me. I'm in that 10 million.
Yeah, me too. But that's just a weird thing to think about how we watch TV now. But regardless. All right. This will probably be like 3 minutes. But yeah, so in episode 3, this is the part where like we found out like 11 knows that Billy has been flayed, and that Rachel girl or whoever the other lifeguard is. So that's where I'm at right now, where like 11's like, yo, shit's going bad.
Yeah.
And
so it's following the same kind of pace as the show.
It is pace by pace. And there are some parts that are not exactly the same. So you wonder, like, did they get an older script? And there's like, we switched it up a little bit, but good enough that it's fine. Yeah. So like I said I have my thoughts already on it, but I want to finish it. It's not the best, mostly because they've just made like a straight, like the most meat and potatoes, like retro throwback game. Like it's just like it's a very meat and potatoes licensed game. It's just like action adventure, like, but it's like 16-bit. So it's just like you just punch and like, health upgrades, and it's kind of disappointing just because you could see that could be. The big thing of the game is like you can play as like almost every character from the main cast of the show. There's like 9 characters, each with their own abilities, but there's not really a point in like switching out characters unless you want to. And it makes me feel like maybe a turn-based RPG or a tactics game might have been a better way to go about this, because you're just kind of, they're all punching people or using one pack. So.
Dark Crystal got it figured out beforehand, is what you're saying?
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, I wish the Stranger Things game was the Dark Crystal game instead. And yeah, it's weird because it feels like this feels like a small budget game. Like it's a little rough. It's framey on the Switch. Like it's very framey at points.
Weird.
And there's hard transitions where like when it moves on to the next thing, there's only one loading screen, by the way. It's just black text with the logo. And then like a small factoid like Hawkins is a city in Indiana. Like,
okay, thanks.
Yeah. And like, so one of for folks again, okay. Folks, we're still in the spoiler zone. So if you're coming back,
spoilers are back on. Everyone put your hats back on.
Okay. So one of the most I think one of the most memorable moments of the season is when they're on the mall. And 11's all like, you lie. Why do you lie? I dump your ass.
Yeah.
Which is a very World Star, like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
And that moment's here, but it made me appreciate how much, like, the Persona, like, text bubble, but you can see the emotion on the character art. There's none of that here. Like, it's just the same like expression on the character, and it's not the best rendition of the character, I think. And not even the model. Not even the model in game changes. So it's just like it's like reading the novelization, and there's like a like an 8-bit version of the characters. So it's like, this doesn't have like a lot of the emotion or the fun or anything of the story of it, and it's a bummer.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I kind of knew going in, but I was curious enough, and I felt good about the show, and I was like, I want more of this because I am a huge mark for that show now in a way that disgusts me. It's like, maybe I should get some Funko Pops.
Yeah, you really crossed to the other side.
Yeah.
Mr. Season 2 was okay, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's kind of how I am. Like I said, I'm going to play through it all the way just to get, or at least try to get as close as I can just to be my due diligence of it. But I think there is obviously something to do with the Stranger Things like license in video games. I think the weird thing about it is I'm sure. So Mike Bithell was on the Giant Bomb like after show because he's working on a John Wick video game, a strategy game.
Yes.
And the thing that he said, and that I really took to heart, he's like, we see more like fun things with movie licenses and video games, and he's like, I feel like the people who are working on these new properties are about in their 30s or 20s, so they know the sort of stereotype that the video game like the movie tie-in for a game is usually bad, and they don't want it to be bad, but sometimes shit just goes bad. Like with John Wick, like things have been going great, but I can see with Stranger Things, like they were originally going to do the Telltale thing, that didn't work out, and then they're going to do something else, and that didn't work out. It's like, well, we would like to do a video game still, and they actually worked with these folks on the mobile game for the first season. So it's like, hey, let's work together again. And you're also making the Dark Crystal game. Let's do it. And not that I'm saying that this was like a hack job. I'm just saying that this isn't. I don't think this is a product that like there's. I can see that all parts like we wish we could have done better. I think we're fine with how this turned out, but there's certainly room for improvement.
Yeah, I remember my brother and my mom being into the mobile game that I think these guys made.
Yeah, they worked on the mobile game, yeah.
Which looked like pretty much the exact same kind of game, but just on mobile as opposed to on.
It kind of makes more sense for mobile, but maybe. But
that was the only thought I had was like this game seems like a sequel to that mobile game, which seemed fine for what it was, but it seemed maybe more comfortable on that platform.
Yeah.
I mean, they got the chance to make it like a big console thing, and
yeah,
if it's whatever, it's whatever. But
and if it's framey, it makes sense because they published it on all platforms, so probably
not optimized, and they're probably a small team. You know, I get it.
Yeah.
That's a bummer. I wish it was better, but oh well. At least the season is great. If you've not watched it,
the season's fantastic. I will probably rewatch it.
It's hella goopy. Fair warning.
It's great.
It's the most, I think, like traditional gore. It's the most I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, they let them get away with some stuff probably because they're one of the biggest TV show probably.
Yeah,
so.
Probably. I will say like my favorite horror movie of all time, and I don't like horror movies traditionally, but my favorite is John Carpenter's The Thing.
This is very thingy,
and it's this season is so thingy.
Got thing energy
in the music, in the vibe, in the storytelling. Yeah, it's big thing energy for sure, George.
Yeah, that's another thing. Actually, I hate to keep bagging on this game, but like it doesn't use any of the music by oh my god, it's like I forget his first name, but it's like Dixon something. Any of the compositions from the show, which is it just has like a few tracks that loop over and over again. And it's a real bummer, which is why I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll watch Fright. We talked about Fright Night in the bonus content. Maybe I just rewatch Fright Night while I play through this game because I'm out of podcast. So, because that soundtrack, like, just even like not the license, not even the license stuff is great, but also just like the original stuff they do for it is fantastic. Mm-hmm. In like capturing that like youthful energy of the 80s, but also being a kid, and also like the spooky sci-fi stuff, like the John Carpenter, like. Good stuff, but yeah, that's Stranger Things, the game.
Kyle Dixon.
I'll probably do Kyle Dixon. I will do a review of that product
in some shape or form.
In some shape or form.
Tell me about George, why are you hurting your teammates with
Man,
Sonic 06?
I'm not Sonic the Hedgehog, 2006.
So you
This is a
chose
bad
this
video.
as the video game book club game. I think this ends the first round of picks for everybody. Maybe
Yes, after yes. No,
Scott,
Jarrett.
Scott might still have to go. Didn't Jarrett pick Super Hot?
Super hot. He did. You're right. So yes, this will cap it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scott, I think maybe Scott still has to pick. I'm not
Right.
positive.
Jarrett's going next though, I think.
No, Scott picked first. That's right. It's the end of the first round of book club. It's on podcast services now. Go subscribe wherever you listen.
Video game book club.
Irrational Passions video game book club should come up. And you picked Sonic 06.
I did.
And it was going to be the input crew and Scott White, and Logan is already hard out. Like you broke him.
He didn't even record one episode. He didn't even make it that far, honestly.
Yeah, he made it to Crisis City and never looked back or forward.
Yeah, so I've been replaying that, and so up to a point, I was like, this feels like coming back to my disheveled home. Yes, I love this. Is great garbage comfort food. Love it. This is the White Castle. This is great. This is fantastic. Love it. But now I'm at the point where I'm like, we still got more to play. And maybe that's because I'm playing the Stranger Things video game. And it's like, well, if I'm not playing this, I gotta be playing Sonic 06. So
one bad thing to another, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we've been playing the PS3 version. I'm mostly familiar with the 360 version. This version's way fucking worse. This is the version the Game Grumps played through, also, I believe.
Excellent.
Ooh, boy, this is way worse just because the framiness and the PlayStation, that cell processor is like
sweating,
saying its prayers to fucking Ken Kutaragi. Like it is not. Ooh, boy, it can't. It's a lot worse.
But truly, what platform would Sonic 06 be good on? You know what I mean?
That's true. I mean, they're remaking it. Like a bunch of fans are remaking it, so we'll see.
Finally, justice for Sonic.
Finally. But yeah, I'm at the point like I was having a good time actually playing this. Like, yeah, this is great. It's bad. But it's been fun to share it like with everyone else because when I was a child and when I played this, I guess child, like I was like, preteen, but like playing it, I was like, where's the FCC? What the fuck are we doing here, guys? How is this
legal?
How is this legal? And I'm glad that everyone's like, what the, like Jared and Scott, like, how is this how?
Yeah.
Like I said, like I mentioned there, like it's funny, but it's also not. Like it's like you don't know, like the Sonic 06 is funny as a meme until you're playing and like, whoa, what the fuck happened? Like, what? How? Like, what? And yeah, it's like you wish Danny O'Dwyer was around in 2006.
Yeah.
Or like Jason Schreier. It was all like, they kept us all in the fucking room, man. The fucking anthem, fucking depression room where you just break down. It's
where everyone's just crying in a corner.
Floor.
Clinical depression runs rampant in the office, and all management's looking at each other like, this will be a good idea, but we're going to do it my way. And everyone thinks that at the same time.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's
got to be something like that, right? Like,
yeah, man. I don't know.
Because you'd think like Sega was at peak bottom Sega right when the Dreamcast like nearly bankrupt them, but no, like it was like years later after they'd become just a software like publisher that it all fell apart with like, Sonic 06.
All we got is Sonic, right? Right at this point, it's like all we got is Sonic. That's all we got.
They turned it around though. Like Sega's on top right now.
Oh no, yeah, they're great. They're fine now. Like a lot of people were worried like when they bought Atlas, but
yeah,
it's been great for both companies. I think.
They literally did exactly what they were supposed to, which is like, hey, we'll give you the money and we won't fuck with anything. And it's like, cool, thank you, goodbye.
If anything, bring your guys to some of our meetings. Maybe they can help us out here.
Yeah, right. And I think they definitely have. So.
Yeah, I was like, y'all should put out Yakuza. That's like high quality content. You should put that out there.
Yeah, don't do VO. Just put it out and people will buy it.
Just it'll be great. Yeah. Puyo, let's put it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, that's that.
Sonic 06 is a bummer.
It's a bummer, and we still got to play it. But I'm excited for what may be the next book club thing. Well, both candidates sound fucking exciting because I haven't played them, and they've been on my to-do list forever.
Yeah, so, I don't remember what they are off the top of my head, but I remember
two big contenders. This is an extra if you're listening to Irrational Passions. I don't know. I hope Scott doesn't get upset with me, but we'll see. Is Vanquish or Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance?
That's
we also
right.
have some Warcraft 3. Vanquish or Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. I'm all.
Yeah, I've never played either of them, but I would absolutely play both of them.
The Platinum City.
Anything that what's his face is directing, Kamiya, Hideteki Kamiya,
Yeah.
I'll give a shot.
Yeah.
What else you got, George?
I purchased, since the last time I was on this podcast, I purchased a Nintendo Switch finally.
You and Tony Horvath.
Finally purchased. Yeah. Oh, cool. I didn't know Tony didn't have a Switch.
Tony got one last week.
Wow. All right. Cool. That must have been interesting for him this week then.
Yeah, I mean, he's been playing mostly Mario Maker on it. We talked about that last week, plenty. But he's like in on Fire Emblem. He was obviously going to get one for Animal Crossing was his big thing. So it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad he got one.
So I need right now, my Switch experience has been, it's a neat thing, but I am not head over heels in love with it. I think we went on a honeymoon and we'd like maybe had a fight or something there. And then we still had sex, but it was like, it was okay.
Okay.
But we have on our honeymoon, we still have like a nice event planned, like in this, like, we've heard good things about the location. It seems promising. So we'll see how that goes. Basically to say is like, I think the Switch is cool, but I never purchased the Switch because I had a Wii U. And I felt that the Switch was just grave robbing the Wii U of all the good games, which in all business is fair. But as someone who enjoys video games and would like to play video games put out by Nintendo, it's just for me, like, I already played this back in 2014. So I guess I'll go back home. So bye-bye. And now that I have a Switch and I played, let me see here. I played Splatoon 2. I played Kirby Star Allies. I played Mario Odyssey. Even Mario Odyssey, honestly, I think it's very good. But I think I like 3D World better. And that's a take. I'm going to put out in the world more once I play more Odyssey and I feel secure about this take. And I've done my research and I have, talked to the committee, the George Take Committee. I will put that out there.
I mean,
now, I'm like,
you know how much I love 3D World, so.
Yeah, 3D was fucking a great video game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I played Smash Brothers, and I didn't want to be like, well, let's say, I personally felt like without playing, I was like, this kind of feels like an expansion on Wii U. But if people say it's great, like, hey, I love all those obscure spirits. That's great shit. And I played it. I'm like, yeah, this just reminds me of Wii U. So this isn't for me either. And I think Splatoon 2 is cool, but it kind of feels like a 1.5 to me. And I don't know. Whatever. So like for me, I'm like, it's cool, but there's nothing that's like really gotten into me. There's nothing. When I got my Vita, I got like all the PS Plus stuff with Gravity Rush and all that other stuff. And then after I played the PS Plus stuff, the next thing I bought was Persona 4. And after that, I was like, I'm
good.
Done.
Yeah, I don't need it anymore, actually.
I don't need anything else. We're good.
Yeah.
Like that game that like really, really like you connect the console with, right? And I think for a lot of folks, that was Breath of the Wild, but I played that on the Wii U, and I have mixed feelings about that game as it is. Yeah. Right. So
I would say like
saying that.
Go ahead,
Alex.
I was just gonna say like, I like that we're both like, all right. I was just gonna say like, I think if Breath of the Wild was definitely my ticket in, but like if that isn't it for you, I would say like there's so many like small games on Switch.
That's the thing, right?
They
like I want to play Grease. I want to play
Grease is
Devolver.
stellar.
Yeah, there's Devolvers. A lot of those games are Switch exclusive because we're in a weird place. And even looking towards the future, where you'll see like the sort of scuttlebutt that's coming out of PlayStation 5 meetings, it's like this feeling of PlayStation not really paying attention to indie games may continue into the next generation.
And Nintendo's just sitting there with open arms. Waiting.
And when that's not happening, at least Microsoft's like, hey, we can make a Game Pass deal. Like, let's put on Game Pass. You can have it on this. We'll be on E3. And that's a big thing.
Yeah, both the other options are way
better.
Yeah.
And it's when I think about it that way, it's like, well, I guess I can't be mad that developers are doing what's best for business. Like, if Sony isn't answering the calls, then that's on Sony. Yeah, that's not their fault.
Start calling other people,
Yeah.
It's like it's again, we're teeing Microsoft up to just fucking take it all next time.
I am very much like, man, Yeah. Anyways, but my point is, and you mentioned it with Luigi's Mansion, like now we are finally getting to the 2014 for the Wii U, where like we are seeing original games for this platform, like for the console, are coming out. You know, Astral Chain, Super Mario Maker 2, which I guess honestly, that's another Wii U thing. It's like, man, the gamepad. Let's talk about the gamepad. Let's talk about you're playing on the TV. But we're also playing on this little tablet. You know what? You got a stylus. You got the stylus? You can put that block right there. Man, that's crazy. You got a D-pad.
You
right
sound
there.
like fucking Bob Ross, but with Mario Maker right now.
It's just like when people describe like like all the concessions we have to make. Like Splatoon, like the map was right there, guys. Like the map was on the screen while I was playing on the TV. Just saying.
I know. Here's the thing, but now you can just take that map and go anywhere. You can just walk out your house with it. I
guess you gotta turn it on though. It's anyways, but Astral Chain, Deus Ex Machina. We've got 2 new Pokemon games. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. Like big games are coming out for the platform now, like that are wholly original. And that gets me really excited.
Link's Awakening too. On top of that,
Link's Awakening.
If you're looking for a little bit of nostalgia, you know.
Yeah. So like. I'm excited for the future. Yeah. Like, Luigi's Mansion is probably going to be the big Switch game for me, and a Pokemon. I haven't played a Pokemon game since Crystal. So
damn, dude. Whew.
Yeah. So
Pokemon's gotten weird since then. Let me tell you. There's fashion shows at some point.
Here, you can pet him. I hear.
Yeah, you can pet that Pikachu. Not in Sword and Shield, but you can still dream. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I think it's funny you say that too, because so many people would say the first year of the Switch was like the best. Although I don't think it's really lost that much momentum. Like 2018 was not as good a year as 2017 for the Switch, but it was a surprisingly small margin. You know, you got Fire Emblem right around the corner too, which I don't know.
Oh yeah, Fire Emblem as well.
If that's your cup of tea, but I got that with the other voucher I had for that Nintendo voucher deal. And so I got that Mario Maker. I think like Switch is in a great spot. Obviously, we're going to talk about it later in news, but like Switch Lite, you know, there's no better time to get on the Switch bandwagon. And I think like those smaller games and getting a handful of them and like being able to jump between any of them at any time, anywhere, is going to be the thing that really gets you into the Switch. I
think eventually, right. So I just need more funds right now. I'm a little eventually like I've been building a list. Like, okay, here's the stuff like when it goes on sale and like when I have like just a few like $60 or $70 just on small games. Let's just fucking go and just hop around. Like My Friend Pedro is also a Switch exclusive now, I think. So like play the Messenger on a platform I like because I didn't love playing on the PC because I just don't like playing PC games. I don't play Baba's You.
Yeah,
I guess that's Grease.
And
I don't know how that site.
It's a great. There. Yeah, I'm curious about Site too. It's a great place to like get things that you missed. Like if you didn't play Moonlighter, but you wanted to give it a shot, Switch is a great platform for that. Cryptid the Necrodancer, if you didn't play that but wanted to give it a shot, like you know, it's typically on sale. Hollow Knight, if you didn't play that and you want to give it a shot. Right.
I think if I would have waited for Time Spinner instead of playing it on my Vita and playing it on the Switch, that would have been the thing. Because I really like Time Spinner, and instead it became like, this might be the last big game I'm playing on my Vita. Oh wow, this is a weird thing.
Yeah,
because I can definitively say this probably might be the last one.
Yeah, I think that even if you miss the timing on that, you'll get there with the Switch. I have faith.
Yeah.
It's just it's all about the right timing. I think that was it with Tony too. It was like, oh shit, Mario Maker 2 is out now. I want to play that because he bought a Switch or a Wii U for Mario Maker. So
I will say though, 1-2 Switch. A fucking crime of a video game. Are you fucking kidding me? I wanted to be polite and be like, listen, guy, people need to be paid for the work they do. You know, whatever. It's got actors. They probably had to pay them. You know, what's the whole thing? I got that game. I rented it from my library because that's how I've been playing all these games. I didn't purchase that. Fucking crime. How the fuck is that a video game you charge $60 goddamn for, and you don't start off with the Ice Cube games or the ball games? You think I'm gonna stand around in a party and play all these fucking katana games or whatever the fucking shit is this? Bullshit of video games. Can you believe we're gonna get into the Switch Lite? That's one of the games like, oh, you can't play what's on this thing? Darn.
What a deal breaker.
What a deal breaker.
I hope you're excited for our extra live stream this year to be 24 hours straight of 1-2 Switch.
Jesus Christ. Super Bomberman R is okay.
Damn. Hot take right there. That's a George take.
They updated it. It's fine now. You can play as Simon Belmont.
Wow, that's kind of cool. What else you got, George?
Yeah, these will be quick because I haven't played too much of them. Played Kingdom Hearts 3 because my little brother let me borrow it.
Mm-hmm.
So it was weird. Again, as I was talking about before the game came out, it's gonna be weird to be holding that game in my hands. And it was weird holding that game in my hands and installing it and going through the menu and hearing those sound effects.
Yeah,
it was very strange. And then of course I sat down for 45 minutes and heard the story so far. I was like, fucking, yeah.
You're like, yeah, this is what I'm in for, huh?
And now I'm like, okay, so that's what this game is about. That's what that story's about.
Yeah.
I don't care about that story. Yeah. I don't care about that story. So this is gonna be rough, but I'm gonna give it a try still. Boy, this game runs weird on a PS4 Pro, huh?
Yeah.
Unless you like fuck around with it.
It is weird. It is
that was weird.
To be fair, like I played it through in the 4K like weird variable frame rate mode, and it was like relatively fine. It's definitely noticeable that it's not consistent, and I mentioned that in my review, but I didn't think it was too much.
But
of a deal.
It's weird in the context, like when we're thinking about we're like in the later years, the golden years of the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, and you look at that game was announced before the PS4 was even a console you could purchase.
Yeah.
And now that it's out, I'm like, maybe it is time for new consoles, guys. I don't fucking know about this. Like, you look at that Xbox One version, it's like, whoo, boy, man. This feels like when we played first-person shooters on the PS3. Like, what are we doing here, guys? This is Devil May Cry at 30 frames per second. This is DMC at 30 frames per second. What are we doing? So I think I don't know what the discourse on Kingdom Hearts 3 is, but this is just first impressions, and I want to make it quick. The game looks weird to me. Like it looks impressive. Like when you're going to specific sections and like the grand spectacle of it, when you're doing like the little I guess I don't even know if they're called like trinities still. I don't know what they're called anymore, but you know when you're like using an attack with a partner. Or you summon that ride, that little like boat thing.
The limit breaks and the attraction rides.
Yeah, the attraction rides, like it looks like a spectacle, but sometimes like the cutscenes weird me out. Like Sora it's like an uncanny valley look to it that
the shading is in lighting is very particular. And I remember like having that feeling when I was watching the trailers. It was definitely something that I kind of got over with time. I think it still does look a little off to me. Because you like it's kind of like they went from a matte finish of the older games to a glossy finish of the newer games. And like I see why they did it because it makes it look more like a Disney movie. But it's different, so it's weird. Yeah, I get you. Wait till you get to that Pirates world, dude. Just looks so good. Ugh.
Okay. But to wrap up my thoughts there, I'm very early. I'm still in the first world. I think it's okay. I think that shield thing is a little wonky. Now that the frame rate is a little bit better now that I fucked around with it, it feels very smooth and really cool. The story stuff, like, man, I think I really just like Kingdom Hearts 1, and that's it. I think like I just needed a story about a boy and a girl. That's all I needed.
And another boy, dude. Don't forget about Riku.
Yeah, right. But like simple friendship. Like just simple
and clean.
Like, yeah, simple and clean is what I needed. Like, I don't care about Xehanort. Who the fuck is this motherfucker? Like, now that I saw the storyline, I was like, okay, now I get it. This is the guy. Here's how it happened. Here's all this. Now when I see the trailer, it's like, oh, that must have been really cool for fans of like when they showed that first chess trailer at TGS. I was like, that must have been super cool for fans because now that I understand the context of what I'm looking at, and now that I understand the context for like the cutscene,
and all the real fans weren't watching the trailer because they were trying to stay media blackout.
Right, but like if you didn't, you'd be like, oh shit! And now that I get what Norded means, oh, I get it. But not having played those other games and maybe I guess the story arc for those characters like Aqua and those three characters from Breath by Sleep, I don't want to butcher their names because I probably will get it wrong.
Aqua, Terra, and Ventus, dude. You got this.
But it seems like, am I mistaken? But it seems like that story, like what happened in Breath by Sleep, like really pushes that whole thing forward, like in where we are now.
I think like you get it in two sides, right? Birth by Sleep is obviously where it's really introduced, and they're such a big part of the story of 3.
They're like a massive part.
Yeah, I mean they're like it's really them coming together with the Sora, Kairi, Riku squad and like them like finding the goals in the middle. But like that's certainly what gets you invested in Xehanort more as a villain because of like all the really terrible stuff that he does to them, right? Like truly awful things.
Exactly.
It gets
That's stuff I'm missing.
Yeah, it gets you invested in him as like a villain. Like if someone's like,
villain.
I want to
Right.
stop this person because what they're doing is
Exactly.
awful.
Right.
And then they reestablished that with Riku and Sora in Dream Drop Distance,
Which I played a little bit of.
which is kind of like the other half of, I think, Kingdom Hearts 3, of like leading into the narrative of what that of 3 is going to be, of like the kind of 13 darknesses and whatnot, but also like Xehanort establishing a direct rapport with Riku and Sora through all of his different versions, and that becoming kind of the central point of the next game. So like, to be fair, like in the arc that they do have you play all the games, there is a kind of build that feels really natural. The thing that's unnatural is that, you know, Dream Drop Distance comes out in 2012 and Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out in 2019, right? You have to wait 7 years before you get the actual payoff of the literal final moments of Dream Drop Distance, which lead right into Kingdom Hearts 3.
Right. Which I'll say it is the biggest pump fake, the biggest, are you fucking kidding me, you piece of shit game. When you go in the spaceship and you're like, all right, guys, let's go on an adventure. Are you fucking ready for Kingdom Hearts 3? I'm fucking pumped. Are you fucking pumped? Let's fucking go. Whoosh. Kingdom Hearts 2.9. Are you fucking kidding me?
It's like the funniest self-aware joke that they could have done, though.
Oh my god!
Because like the thing is, like, if you Kingdom Hearts 2 has like that really late title card after the prologue with Roxas is over, and it's like, okay, the game starts now, and they do a similar thing with 3, only they do the 2.9 on top of the 2.8 joke that they had already made, and it's such a good troll. Because like obviously you're in the old outfit, it is a little bit like that section plays a little bit more stiff, you know, it plays a little bit more like 2, and then they transition to 3 and things get buck wild. But we talked about it on the show. I thought that was so funny. Oh my gosh, like we're definitely gonna do a best moment tribute to that at the end of the year.
I would. Yeah. Anyways,
it's not gonna win, but it's very good.
It's a good moment. To move things along, the game I got with my Switch was Tales of Vesperia, because I figured, why not now? If there's never been a better time, I guess, because I'm getting the Switch. I want to play a big meaty game. Let's do it. Dragon Quest isn't out yet. Let's go. I'm not too far into it. I'm still early. Like we just left the little dungeon thingy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'm extremely early days on it. Mm-hmm. But yeah. I'm excited to get back to it once I'm done with Stranger Things. No complaints yet.
Yeah, I played a little bit of it on Switch because I bought it a second time there, and it like runs great. Like I think that's a great version of that game. It's a little framey when you're walking around towns and stuff, but obviously the combat's like a smooth 60, and it looks great and everything. Yeah,
the thing that is fucking me up is that, because maybe I'm not a Tales expert, but it was at a certain point in the series, like in Exilia or Berseria, did we take off the fact that you are on a track?
Yes.
And locked on? Okay.
Berseria specifically is where that happened.
Okay, that is throwing me the fuck off.
So
right
like
now,
the traditional Tales style is like the linear active battle system or whatever. They've got a whole anagram for it, but it doesn't matter. But so Zestiria and Graces have it front to back, and every other Tales game has it left to right. And then obviously you can hold the left trigger and kind of free roam. And then Berseria is the first Tales game that lets you freely move around, and it like goes a little bit more in like a Devil May Cry direction because there's like cancels and lock-ons, and it's very good. The combat in Berseria is probably the best in the franchise.
Yeah, that was the thing I walked away from that thing being like, yo, his combat is good.
Like the cool thing is like every character has a different cancel that they can do based on like their unique R2 ability.
Yeah.
So like everyone plays in a really cool combo based way that is like surprising.
Like they committed to that fighting like sort of underlying feeling that the series has had.
Yes. They got there,
like
and
the air combos and the juggles,
and they're just like taking it to the next step with Tales of Arise, where it's just like, okay, now we're not gonna go into little battle zones, we're just gonna open world, which is like great, finally. But that is like that's traditional Tales. That's like PS2 all the way back to the Legendi or whatever the first one was, the PS1 one.
Destiny.
Tales of Destiny. it takes some getting used to, and like there's certainly a tact, like a kind of vibe that you have to settle into with that combat system. The thing I'll tell you, like now that you're early on, one, there's a great side quest guide that I use if you want to just kind of see everything in one playthrough. There's a great like non-spoilery side quest guide that I use every time I play it. That just is like, after this story beat, here are like the 6 things that you should do, like 6 different side quests you should check in on. And it's like very much like, go talk to this specific person or get this specific item and give it to this specific person. Like kind of like old school style side quests in JRPGs. So if you're interested, I can send that to you as well. I think you get a lot more out of the game with the side quests because some of them are like will actually affect the scenes that happen in the narrative, flesh things out, and flesh out a lot of the characters a lot more. So
Okay.
But cool. Yeah, that game is just a fucking great time.
Well, that's all I've been playing.
Cool.
Good intro song, but like the intro song.
Oh yeah, that intro song is a bop. It's like that Berseria one gets you crazy hyped, but this one is like just fun anime. Cool. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we got just a little bit of news to handle, and then I don't think we have any. That's right. We do have trivia, but we're still kind of like waiting to get everyone back together for it. So I don't think we'll have any questions or anything this week, but. We at least have one news story to talk about, so we will be back in just a little bit. let's do this funky thing. Hopefully this... Oh, good thing I checked.
News in Daily.
Let's talk about some news. Just the one, I pulled one story, and did I forget anything, George?
In game.
In the video game space, I feel like nothing big happened.
No, I don't think so.
So Nintendo unceremoniously in a press release this Wednesday morning. It was Wednesday, I think. I remember like waking up and checking my phone and like just laying in bed, checking, like going through the email, like my IP email on my phone. And it's like press release, Nintendo, and it's this Nintendo Switch Lite. I was like, what? Excuse me? But yeah, the Nintendo announced the Nintendo Switch Lite. Now, I want to take us all back. George, I want you come back to your early days at Irrational Passions. To 2016 when the Switch was unveiled. And shortly thereafter in January of 2017 when the Switch was fully
that is
unveiled.
correct. It was like after the first presidential debate.
Yeah, dude, it was rough. October, man.
I remember that.
It was the same day that Ali Mushka and I recorded our never to be launched dating advice podcast. That's how long. This is a deep cut. I said before the Switch even came out, I don't have timestamps to corroborate this. I can find them if people want receipts. But I said,
you mean the NX?
The NX.
We're back in time right now.
Throw your X's up. And not like it was after it was like unveiled as the Switch, I think, but I believe it was before it came out in March of 2017 that in the future Nintendo would release a portable only Switch without the dock. Here we are in that future that I predicted. Now
this feature sucks.
To be fair, not much of a cold shot. Because I feel like a lot of people kind of predicted this. I just remember I was one of the first ones. I really believed that this was something that could work and that could be cool. I think it is. I don't know what you think, George. Sounds like you think it sucks.
No, I'm just talking about in general.
Oh, the general feature is bad.
In general, the feature.
Switch Lite is fine. For the uninitiated, possibly you, Scott. I don't know if you'd heard about this earlier in the week. It's funny too because Scott.
I still think it's a bad idea.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's like a great idea, but I don't think it's a bad idea. I think it'll be fine. Like I'm very indifferent to the Switch Lite.
Yep.
Which is what I expected it to be. It's funny though because I feel like the Switch Lite would kind of fit how you use your Switch, Scott, as someone who's like never docked it.
It does, and it also kind of doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's okay, so I don't dock it all that often. Fantastic. The Joy-Cons aren't the greatest things in the world, and mine have already broken.
Yes.
Dang.
And it's basically the portions under the portion right under the joystick is not covered like completely. It's not a hard line piece of plastic. It's essentially a flap that you can lift up and things can essentially run their way in there.
Very nice.
Not too difficultly.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I gotcha. Switch Lite. So to give you the summary, listener, if you were uninitiated, you probably are, but here it is. $200 coming out this September. I think it's September 10th.
That sounds right, because it's coming out the same day as Link's Awakening.
Is it? I think that's September 21st then. But it is a portable only version of the Switch. It is slightly smaller than the standard Switch. Comes in 3 colors. It's like turquoise, Homer Simpson yellow, and like white, I think, or like grayish.
It's gray.
It does not have detachable Joy-Cons. And that's really it. It's $200. You know, can never be docked.
No rumble.
It
cannot be docked. There's no IR sensor.
Mm-hmm.
No kickstand. D-pad.
D-pad is connected as opposed to separate buttons, so a lot of people are praising that. Although I think if that there's a very possibility that Nintendo could do a re-release of the Joy-Con and have that. So I feel like that if you want that, I feel like that's not far off. Yeah, that's really it. I think it's like all the same hardware internally. It might have like a slightly updated chip. Has 30% better battery life. I don't know. Like I think like this is very much like not for me.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But like,
yeah,
I think it's a good looking system. I like how it looks.
Yes. Very pretty.
I think it's gonna like $200 is just such a good
That's a
price
good
point.
ass deal.
I think like a lot of people said that is what the Switch needed to launch at, and I always thought that is what this like the portable only version would launch at. And it's like it's what $300 for a regular Switch, which is still on the market. It's not going anywhere. Presumably that will be replaced by the Switch Pro, and then it will just be Switch Lite, and then like the new Nintendo Switch at some point. Yeah, I don't know. This just makes a lot of sense to me. Not something I am interested in buying, but I think it's cool if you are on a bit of more of a budget. You want a Switch and you don't ever plan on using it in any way other than it being portable, which a lot of people will never do. I think this is a great deal.
You got to commit to it though.
Yeah.
Because the thing that I wouldn't have expected in your prediction, Alex, is that they're just like fucking. You can't even buy a dock. Like you're just.
Yeah, the fact that it doesn't output at all is weird.
Just threw it out the trash. It's just gone.
I wonder if that's because the Joy-Cons are not detachable, so you would have to get a separate controller. But I don't know. Yeah. If you went out of your way to buy a separate dock, I feel like they should have let you make it work.
Yeah, that's the thing that I was like, not a fan. Like the paranoid person in me, like even if I'm just gonna get the bigger one.
Yeah, I mean, like I would always opt to do the one that. If there's a version that will let you play it on a TV, it's of course what I would play it. I bet that there is a different vent and fan and different cooling in this version. That's why it can't be docked. Because the Switch got that vent on the top, and I don't see that on the Switch Lite.
It probably doesn't have the scaling stuff because it does need to go from 720p to 1080 upscale.
Yeah,
and that 1080p fucking
yeah, it's a little rough sometimes.
I would have just taken 720p on my television, my guy. I've just been like, yeah. Honestly.
I'll tell you. Hey, at the very least, a lot of Nintendo games have good frame rate, especially Mario Odyssey.
Mario Odyssey looks weird.
Yeah, it's a very smooth game.
It is, but it also looks weird undocked to me. It's like jaggy a little bit. I don't know what's up with that.
It's just it's high detail and small resolution.
Weird.
Switch Lite's cool. I wanted to get Tony's take on it because he specifically said last week that. He is confident that a Switch Pro will be coming out, and it probably will, to be fair. But
yes.
Clearly, I feel like maybe they had to reassess it, or maybe they've been reassessing it, and that's why it was not announced alongside the Switch Lite. But whenever it does come, whether it be before the end of the year or not, he resigned himself to trading his Switch to get the Pro version.
I think so would I.
Yeah.
At that point, I'm having mine on a Elite thing, so I would be paid off by that point, and I'd be ready to switch it.
Yeah, I definitely do that myself as well. Just because at this point I have all the Pro consoles and I feel good about owning them. But yeah, I don't know. I'm curious where he falls on this. I don't know if I don't know if he's someone who's been playing his Switch docked or in handheld mode primarily.
Right. This is the time that makes sense to do this because they got a great lineup for the rest of this upcoming season. I think if you're new to the Switch family, everything you want is already here.
Yeah, if the biggest thing was price point for you, and I don't know if I want to spend $300 on this thing.
It'd be a good Christmas for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So here's the thing about the Switch Pro. Yeah. I think the Switch Pro will end up like the new 3DS.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Which is not very good.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about.
I would honestly take a Switch Pro if it were a year and a half down the road.
Yeah.
It would be close enough to be new Nintendo console time.
Yeah.
But the Switch...
You're saying that whatever this upgrade would be is not going to be substantial enough, is what you're saying.
It would be too soon and not substantial enough.
Yeah, so it would just be kind of floating in water.
It'd be floating in water. What they could do is they could break the forced gimmick innovation portion, or they really don't have to do that, and they can add something else kind of nice to the Nintendo Switch Pro. that would essentially dot their boxes for a new console, but then bring it into next gen or whatever they want to call it just a little sooner.
Yeah, I think like this is the Brant Range dream that I've heard so much about, of like from here on out Nintendo doesn't release any new consoles, they just continuously upgrade the Nintendo Switch.
That's how I felt, because I'd be like, I think the big fear about them not wanting to give up the 3DS because they have disrupted their own business model in terms of hardware. Like, I think that's the thing. It's like, where do we go from here now, guys? People love this thing so much. It's like,
yeah, I mean, to be fair, like the Switch Lite is literally just an arrow notched and shot directly into the heart of the 3DS. Like, if there's never been a more clear and obvious sign of that. The 3DS is done. It's over.
Right. This is some 2004. You're telling me the three pillars, the DS, the Game Boy,
the Game Boy and the GameCube.
Right. Yeah. But at this point, it would be, if they did it a little later, it would make sense. It would make sense if they couldn't. It would make sense for it to be treated as a new console.
Yeah. I'm on the same page.
I'm with
so
you.
It would be backwards compatible to to some degree.
Yeah. You know, maybe but like the weird like 1-2 switch games might not work, but yeah, like who cares?
Yeah, right.
Man, dang. Right, they have this. It's the same fucking edited video pack.
Yeah, I like your plan a lot too, Scott.
I agree, because they're in a weird spot, right? Like, it's like, do you really want to do?
Because if it comes out, if it comes out at the end of this year, then that would be it's a 3-year split upgrade, and that's kinda what Sony and Xbox did. I'm pretty sure they waited 4 years.
It was 3.
2016. Yeah, it was 3 years.
Yeah, 3 years. It would be next year if we're following this pattern, which is not enough time, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Right, but it's their double upgraded consoles didn't do great either.
You mean the 3D? You mean
the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X?
Right, and there's 2 of the Xbox One X versions.
Yeah, but like the S was really just like a re-release of the original version of the Xbox. So
right, and just an overclocked.
It was essentially an overclock that allowed you to do, was it?
Run games games better and upres to 4K. Better. Letterbox that, or not letterbox.
There we go. It was the 4K support for that one.
Yeah.
But then they did the One X after that, and it's. I know that one of them didn't do well, but I forget which one it was.
I think the X I think they both just did fine.
It wasn't. I think the X is like a super, super, super niche product.
Yeah. I doubt it sold crazy well, but I'm sure.
And the bummer is that just the base Xbox One S, it's just not that powerful of a system, so it's a weird spot to be in. But the value is there, right, with Game Pass, so it's like, fuck it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right, Scott. I think Nintendo putting out a Switch this year especially would be, I feel like it'd be crazy at this point. I feel like if the Switch Lite's going to come out, it'd be early next year. Even that's still too soon. Like if they did it early 2021.
I mean the Pro.
Yeah, this do a new Switch early 2021.
Yes.
So 4 years deep into the Switch, and then do the Switch Pro 2 4 years after that, and then that's
maybe
the rest.
Maybe lower
of
the price of the Switch Lite to $150 and the other Switch to $200 or something. Or like bring it down, and then I think early in the year makes sense if you're gonna go. Like, don't wait too long into the next year. Like just put it out in February, like in March, like you did like last time for the original Switch. But I agree with you, Scott, because they're in a weird spot now. It's like you struck gold with the Switch, but you're now in the ideal, like what everyone wants. Like, this is it. Like, I'm good. You guys, unless they want to keep innovating, and forcing new ways to to enjoy people like your games, Nintendo games. Like, but this is it, right? Like, you just got to make new Switches for the rest of your life.
Well, really, it's people wanted more power out of their system.
Right.
Yeah.
And I guess what they could honestly do is make the Switch Pro portion the dock.
Yeah, maybe
when you plug it in, the dock actually has something in it to help with the processing.
Yeah, so like an expansion pack for the original Switch.
Right, because it is USB-C. Yeah, see.
Yeah, it could do
So
it.
it can
could
do
an
that.
external GPU. Yeah,
It can do that.
that'd be wild, Scott. If that
That
ends
would
up
be
coming
weird.
true, I'm gonna fucking give you all the cookie points for that.
The weird thing about the new 3DS, though, that the new 3DS was just an overclocked 3DS.
Yeah,
That was the weird thing. That was just an overclocked 3DS.
it suddenly can play Super Nintendo games. Crazy.
Yeah, we just took the limit. Now I can do it. Cool.
Yeah. I thought about playing A Link to the Past yesterday, and then I was like, oh, I could play it on my 3DS. And I remembered I couldn't. And I got just pissed off. I just got unreasonably pissed off.
Fuck this.
Also, George, you'll appreciate shout out to my Animal Crossing 3DS XL.
Oh, yeah, the Pop-Tart.
I got the Pop-Tart, dude.
Jealous.
It's delicious looking.
Yeah.
I think that's enough Switch Lite talk. I think we covered everything that we needed to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Coming out this fall. Look for it. That's it for news. I think that's all I pulled. That's all there was really to talk about, as far as I know.
Yeah, anybody got any hot Dr. Mario World news?
Yeah, no, I haven't played that at all. I hear it's fine. Dr. Mario World, mobile games from Nintendo, something like that. I don't know. Whatever.
Ninja Renee, not a fan of it, so there you go. It's dead.
There you go. If you would like to be a part of the show, you can do so by sending us an email, mailsack@irrationalpassion.com. Leave us a voicemail at 404-590-1337, or tweeting us a question at irrationalpod. You can use the hashtag IPQ, makes it easier for me to find. No questions this week. I did kind of solicit them a little late. That was my bad. I'll say this, if anybody listening has like topics that they want us to talk about for these like kind of newsless summer months, feel free to tweet them in. When Namish and Tony, Scott, and I are all back and we've got the full staff and editor here, I would like to do our half-year game of the year. So like so far this year, what we've been playing, kind of like what Scott talked about earlier. So if folks want to send in topics like that or something like that, I figured the summer, the July and August episodes of IPP are going to be pretty free form, pretty chill, mostly talk about games and not a lot about news, depending. We'll see what happens. But yeah, that's going to be the show. So let's get into the outro here. If you like the show, follow us on Twitter at IrrationalPod, Instagram Irrational Passions. George, you run those accounts.
Yes, Instagram's been dead for a minute, but you know.
But there's still cool stuff there. Older stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of work has been put into that. And I think it's still worth a follow. If you like the show, rate and review us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, Spotify, wherever you like. Check out Input, which George is the host of, a video game news and culture show, also part of Irrational Passions, and Video Game Book Club, which is middle of Sonic 06. Do you know how many episodes Sonic 06 is?
We have 2 more episodes of Sonic 06, so I would say the second one's been in the can, recorded, just get edited. Yeah.
And cool thing, you can subscribe to that on iTunes and Google Play and Spotify, all the good places that you can subscribe to podcasts now.
You can listen to the older episodes; they're all there.
Yeah, everything's there. If you want to go back to Arkham Asylum, listen to us play through that. That was a ton of fun. Or Ori, or Dead Space 2. Tons of great choices. And for everything else, Irrational Passions, irrationalpassions.com. We've reached the end of the show, which means it's time for bets. Somewhere in the distance, you can hear Tony yelling, "Bets!" This is a weird spot, Scott. I just realized. Oh no, that's right. We're on opposite teams this time.
Yeah,
I forgot. I legit for a second thought we were on the same team. This week's bet on the back of the Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 box. How many helmets will we see? To be clear, I know this is very similar to the Easy Allies bet for this week. It's not very creative. I'm sorry, but I thought of it and I thought it was funny, so I wanted to do it.
How many helmets?
How many helmets? It's not all super. If it is a headband or like a bandana or a mask, not a helmet. If it's a full on over the head, then I'll count it. Like Captain America wears a helmet, right?
Are they adding X-Men characters to this Marvel Ultimate Alliance game?
I think so.
There's sure, because Marvel had that weird thing where it was like fuck X-Men characters.
There are X-Men characters in the base game,
okay.
And there also is an expansion pass that's adding a bunch of characters. So
yeah,
I assume X-Men characters are included. All right, George, what's your bet?
I'm gonna go 2.
Scott?
Going with 4.
I said 6. Good old multiples of 2 right there.
Well, here's the thing. That's a pretty safe bet because Iron Man and Thor.
Yeah, you got at least 2.
You have at least 2.
That's true. I didn't think about Thor.
If Cap is wearing his helmet, 3, right?
Oh, yeah,
but he might not be because he doesn't a lot.
But is he going to be in the back of the box?
Yeah, maybe he won't be on the back. Maybe he'll only be on the front. Maybe Scarlet Witch's outfit in this game has a helmet. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Who knows? We'll have to wait and see.
Damn.
This is why it's anybody's game.
I'm excited for that game. I hope it's good.
I hope it's good too. Or I don't think I would like it. To be fair, to be honest, like I didn't love.
Yeah, it probably hasn't. This format hasn't aged well, but
yeah, I didn't.
Like Diablo still, so fuck it. I know.
Yeah, I didn't love the first 2. I thought they were fine, but I hope the people that did love the first 2 get exactly what they want out of this game. Last week's bet: how many times will the word Minecraft be used in the bottom 10 critic reviews on Metacritic of Dragon Quest Builders 2? To be clear. So this was an interesting one. I thought this would be a lot, and then the first 2 reviews didn't have it at all. Actually, the first 3 reviews, and then all of the ones after that had at least one. One of the reviews actually had it in the review 4 times. So 6, 7, 10, 14 times total across those 10 reviews. And Nabishin bet 13, which means he was like right fucking there. Bastard. Which brings Team Dublin down up to 20 points total. And Team About to Bust a Bet still in the lead with 21 points, but boy, is it close. Boy, is it close. Team Super Pink Girl Power, which is now the name of the editorial team.
That's the team you're on, George.
That's your team, George. Has 3 points, but we've worked out a system. Basically, every bet that you guys make for until you guys catch up is going to be worth 5 points. So if you get this,
isn't it generally for? It's the ones they miss, not until they catch up. So we didn't have a guest on that last time, so this is the start of it.
Yeah.
So it is. So this is 1. They've got 3 more. Goes 20.
Okay. 3 more chances to get 5 points. I like that. But that's it. That's the show. That's the end. We've reached the end. Thanks everybody so much for listening or hanging out or watching or whatever you decided to do. I appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out with us, George.
Yeah, it was a pleasure.
Thanks, Scott, as always, for being here. Thank you to Danny Wiesner for opening music of 2-Player Co-op and our closing music of The World is Saved. Thank you, Nabishin and Tony, wherever you guys are. Hopefully getting some rest, hanging out with family, doing something. And thanks, everybody, again, for listening. I've been your host, Alex O'Neill. Play your games. Stay irrational. We will talk to you all next week. And then we reach the titles part, and it becomes very embarrassing because I only wrote down one title, which was when Scott said, "I'm one of you guys." Which, to be fair, was very funny.
It was one of you. Hold on. Was it one of you people?
It was no, you said I'm one of you guys.
That's right, yeah.
Okay.
Like you fucking gays.
Yeah, you guys.
Which I think is a good title for this. If George, you want to say the episode number, and Scott, you want to say the title, we could do it that way.
Cool.
Should make sure you don't talk over each other because I only got one track to work with.
Okay.
It's 4:31. George, do you want me to write it down, or you got it?
I got it.
When you're ready.
You're listening to the Irrational Passions Podcast, episode 431.
Yeah, I'm one of you guys.
Perfect. Thanks everybody so much for watching. We love you all very much. Have a good night.
Take care.